So if you're not vegan, you are in fact funding some of the most atrocious acts of animal cruelty. Um, these animals raised for their flesh and secretions, they are treated like shit. They're forced to live in shit. And also you can spend a few minutes feasting on their flesh, and then you literally turn them into shit. Yeah, don't call yourself an animal lover if you're not vegan, because you're their worst enemy. Um, you literally pay people who do such awful things to these animals that they would in fact be crimes of rape, kidnapping, theft, torture, and murder if done to humans. And you're doing these awful things, paying people to do these awful things for what? For a meal. A meal. It's not even healthy. The more meat, dairy, and egg products you consume, the more risk you have of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, cerebral vascular disease, causing another pandemic. And it's hard to believe there's not more pandemics. I mean, look at the filth these animals have to live in. Yeah, so even if you don't care about how awful these animals are treated, I mean, just the fact that they are literally crammed into these overcrowded, shit-filled dungeons. I mean, these animals live in a real-life Saw movie. Piglets. Soon after they're born, they have their tails cut off. They have their teeth clipped. They have their ears clipped. The males are castrated. All of this without any anesthesia. If the piglets are sick, or if they're not growing quick enough to be profitable for meat, it is standard practice for those workers to slam those little piglets off the floor to kill them and then throw them in the trash, because it would eat into the profits of the farmer to hire a vet to treat a sick animal, or to, even euthanize them. And these animals are just seen as products, as property. They are not given the same kinds of protection that your dog or cat is given. And, oh, here we go. Somebody with abortion. Abortion is murder. How long have you been vegan? How long have you been vegan? Because if you're not vegan, you literally eat babies all day long. Yeah, and for dairy, if you're consuming dairy products, you literally have babies stolen from their mothers and killed so you can consume their baby food. So you're a hypocrite. If you claim to be pro-life and you're not vegan, you are a hypocrite, and I cannot take you seriously. Yeah, these animals are just babies. Pigs, they're just 6 months old when they are slaughtered. They can live over 10 years, but they're slaughtered at just 6 months of age. So yes, for your bacon, a baby is slaughtered so you can eat them and, increase your risk of cancer in the process. Yeah, because bacon is carcinogenic, in case you don't know. So yeah, I don't want to hear from people about abortion if you're not vegan, because you're a hypocrite. You're not pro-life. You are not pro-life if you are not vegan. Animal agriculture is destroying life. Literally every single day, hundreds of millions of innocent creatures are slaughtered over your food preferences. Food preferences that literally increase your risk of heart disease and cancer and diabetes and kidney disease and causing pandemics. Yeah, we're in the middle of a pandemic. Why? Because someone had to go and eat a dead animal. If the world had been vegan according to God's dietary plan in Genesis 1:29, there would have been no COVID pandemic. Yeah, and for those of you who think this pandemic was started in a lab, what about swine flu that comes from the pork industry? What about bird flu that comes from the poultry industry, which is how they think the Spanish flu started in a poultry farm in Kansas? And there are 8 billion people starving to death, including children. Yeah, for all of you pro-lifers, listen up. 1 billion people starving because food they could eat is being fed to your food. So yeah, stop saying you're pro-life if you're not vegan, because you are not pro-life. You're not. You're not. So sick of it. So sick of hypocrites. So sick of hypocrites. And this person, some people can't afford to be vegan. No, you can't afford not to be vegan. The planet can't afford for the world not to be vegan. The planet's literally being destroyed over animal agriculture. Animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation, species extinction, water pollution, water depletion, ocean dead zones, ocean plastics, fisheries depletion, pandemics, world hunger, and climate change. Yeah, and heart disease, very, very costly. Cancer, very, very costly. The more meat, dairy, and egg products you consume, the more risk you have of cancer, heart disease, kidney disease, cerebrovascular disease, Parkinson's disease. So yeah, it's very costly to not be vegan. And yeah, foods like rice and beans and tofu, very, very inexpensive, like the most inexpensive foods and most healthy foods. Bananas, oatmeal, very cheap, very healthy. And I would recommend grow as much as your own food as you can. You know, even if you're just living in an apartment, you know, you can have, you know, planters right outside your door or on your patio. You could have window boxes where you grow herbs, tomatoes. You know, grow as much as your own food as you can. And stick to as close to a whole foods, organic, plant-based diet as possible. And this person, tofu is synthetic. Tofu is not synthetic. Tofu is made from soybeans. It's real food. And it's been around for over 2,000 years. And soy is on that list of foods that help fight cancer from the American Institute for Cancer Research. And the soy that is used to make tofu is typically the GMO-free soy. The genetically modified soy is what they feed livestock. That's the soy that I would stay away from. But that's the soy you're consuming secondhand when you consume dead animals. It's so weird. It's so weird that people are conditioned to the point where they can't even figure out what to eat if it's not an animal's dead, diseased carcass. It's so bizarre when you really think about it. Or, you know, something that comes out of a bird's shit-encrusted ass vagina. Or a cow's infected udder. It's just so weird. So weird. That people are like, well, what do you eat? You must eat like grass or something. No, all fruits, all vegetables, beans, legumes, nuts, seeds are vegan, and they are the healthiest foods. Even from the American Institute for Cancer Research, the National Kidney Foundation, the American Institute for Cancer Research. A plant-based diet helps to reduce the risk of all of those very common and very deadly diseases. And if you have any of those diseases, a plant-based diet can help treat them. From the American Institute for Cancer Research, a plant-based diet doesn't only reduce your risk of getting cancer. If you have cancer, a plant-based diet helps fight it. From the National Kidney Foundation, a plant-based diet helps reduce your risk of getting kidney disease. If you have kidney disease, a plant-based diet helps slow the progression. From the American Heart Association, the more meat you eat, the more risk you have of heart disease, cancer, type 2 diabetes, obesity. Just insanity that people want to fight against going vegan. Going vegan is literally the best thing you can do. It's the best thing you can do for the animals, obviously, even the wild animals. Because in case you don't know, wild animals are being killed too. It's not just the cows and the pigs and the fish and the chickens. For instance, the wild American horses. Every single year here in the United States, the government with taxpayer dollars rounds up thousands and thousands of wild American horses. And they're going to be rounding up even more as the resources dwindle down, like the water resources literally drying up. So they're going to be rounding up more and more and more of these horses so that cattle can graze these public lands instead. And then what happens to these horses once they're rounded up? They're put in government holding facilities, and from there they're eventually auctioned off. Who buys them? Mostly kill buyers. Buy them cheap at auction and ship them into Mexico, ship them into Canada, where they are slaughtered for horse meat. That is what they're doing with our wild American horses with our tax dollars. Yes, I am outraged. I am outraged. Are you outraged? Are you ready to go vegan? Are you ready to stop this massacre? You want world peace? Peace starts with you on your dinner plate. You can't expect to have world peace when on your dinner plate is a massacre, is violence, is cruelty, is injustice. What is happening to these animals, this is an atrocity like no other, because again, animal agriculture is literally destroying the planet. And that's not coming from me. That's coming from Harvard University. That's coming from Oxford University. Yes, researchers at Oxford University did an extensive study of over 40,000 farms. Look at Joseph Poor's study, Poore. Joseph Poore and other researchers at Oxford did an extensive study of over 40,000 farms and concluded that animal agriculture is so environmentally destructive, going vegan is the best way to save the planet, and that if the world went vegan, land totaling the size of Africa could be freed up, because that is how much land is needed to graze and grow food for livestock. And again, it's not just the cows and the pigs and the chickens and the fish that are being intentionally killed for your food preferences. It's also wild animals being intentionally killed, like the wild American horses. And during these mass roundups that happen every year, a lot of these horses break their legs and have to be euthanized. A lot of these horses have babies with them, and those little fools end up dying of exhaustion trying to keep up with their mothers. I mean, I just don't understand it. I just don't. Just start trying some vegan options right here on TikTok. Right here on TikTok. In the search box, please, in the search box, put vegan recipes. And you'll come across endless vegan recipes right here on TikTok. Hundreds of TikTokers who post vegan recipes. Give some of those TikTokers a follow. You will see it's so easy to be vegan, and you still get to eat delicious foods that are so much better for your health and so much better for the planet. Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, Sir Isaac Newton, Leonardo da Vinci, Benjamin Franklin, Vincent van Gogh, Socrates, Pythagoras, Plato, Plutarch, all abstained from eating animals because they knew it was immoral and unhealthy. And even Albert Einstein knew that it was not environmentally sustainable. And if you think anything I'm saying here is a lie, is misinformation, just look into what I'm telling you tonight. I do not want you to take my word for it. Look into this on your own and you will see I am not lying. I am not even exaggerating. And here's some more animals being killed. You know, for you to eat fish, they're literally killing sea lions. They're killing sea lions. And they say they're doing this to save salmon. They don't give a fuck about saving salmon. They just want to save the salmon so the fishermen can kill the salmon and sell the salmon to you. Yeah, so again, they're killing sea lions because, you know, sea lions actually have to eat fish to survive. You don't. But they're killing the sea lions because the sea lions kill the fish that the fishermen want to kill to sell to you. But they're saying that they're killing the sea lions to save the salmon. No, they're not. I mean, this is a lie. You want to talk about lies and spreading misinformation? This right here is a lie. They're not killing the sea lions to protect the salmon. They're killing the sea lions so they themselves can kill the salmon for profit. When these salmon, their lives literally rely on being able to have salmon to kill to eat. You don't have to kill to eat. In fact, a whole foods plant-based diet is the best diet for human health. And if you're Christian, just turn to the first page of your Bible, Genesis 1:29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in the which is the fruit of a tree yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat. Romans 14:21. It is good not to eat meat. Isaiah 11:6-9. The wolf will lay with the lamb, and there will be no more harm. Why are we destroying everything God created over a taste preference? And the reason why your dead animal flesh tastes so good is because of what it's seasoned with. Herbs and spices are vegan. You know, KFC marinated in a shit-filled shed for 6 weeks. That delicious flavor comes from the secret recipe, which consists of 11 herbs and spices. Herbs and spices are vegan. It's not the dead bird that marinated in a shit-filled shed that tastes so good. It's the herbs and spices. So my food tastes just as good as your food because my food is seasoned just the same. And actually, my food tastes better. Like I said, open up your mind. At least, the very least, just start trying some vegan options, some vegan recipes right here on TikTok in the search box. Put vegan recipes in the search box. You will come across endless vegan recipes right here on TikTok. Hundreds of TikTokers who post vegan recipes. Give some of those TikTokers a follow. And you'll see that it's so easy to be vegan. And the food is amazing. And it's so much healthier and so much more environmentally sustainable. And no animal has to be put through hell. These animals are literally treated like shit. They are forced to live in shit. Just so you could spend a few minutes feasting on their flesh. And then you literally turn them into shit and flush them down the toilet. Yeah, and then somebody says protein. Protein. All plants contain protein. Now, fruits aren't a very good source of protein because, you know, a typical serving of fruit only contains about 1 gram of protein. But beans, grains, legumes, nuts, seeds, tofu, plant-based meat alternatives are a very good source of protein. And just 2 tablespoons of peanut butter contain 8 grams of protein. You can very easily get all the protein you need on a plant-based diet. And Kendrick Ferris is vegan, and he is the only man from the United States to have made the Rio Olympics in weightlifting. So, yeah, it's very easy to be vegan. And yeah, Kendrick Ferris, proof that you can even become an Olympic weightlifter as a vegan. So stop fighting against, no, you get all the protein you need on a plant-based diet. And some protein sources are a complete source of protein, like quinoa and tofu, hemp seeds, and chia seeds. Like I add some chia seeds to my smoothies. Yeah, there are plant-based foods that are a complete source of protein. But yeah, rice and beans together, that's a complete source of protein. It's very easy to get all the protein you need on a plant-based diet. And again, the more meat, dairy, and egg products you consume, the more risk you have of heart disease, kidney disease, cerebrovascular disease. Watch What the Health. Or, watch the trailer for it. You can pull it up on YouTube for free. What the Health. Eating You Alive. Watch The Game Changers. And definitely check out Dominion. You could watch that for free. If you go to dominionmovement.com, you pull it right up, just click on it. You don't have to sign in or anything. You just click watch film and you go right into it. Everybody should watch Dominion so you can see why you need to be vegan. Yeah, veganism is a stance against injustice, against animals. What's being done to these animals? These same things were being done to humans. They would in fact be crimes of rape, kidnapping, theft, and murder. And I'm not even exaggerating. No, I do not financially support PETA. No, I understand Ingrid Newkirk's stance on shelter animals. And it's disgusting. Maybe she no longer has that same stance, but I doubt it. Yeah, she thinks that after 30 days, the shelter dogs and the shelter cats should be euthanized. No, euthanasia is for animals who are suffering. When it's in the best interest of that animal because they're suffering and there's nothing within reason that you can do to help them. So, yes, you put them out of their misery. That's what euthanasia is. Taking a healthy animal and killing them, that's not euthanasia. That's an execution. That's murder in my eyes. I'm not a speciesist. I'm not a human supremacist. I see it as no different than taking a healthy human and killing them. It's disgusting. And she's not a vegan. She's a hypocrite too. Just like these pro-lifers. Hypocrites. And no, I'm not going to financially support hypocrites and animal abusers and animal killers. Nope, not going to do it. And just because, PETA has done a lot of good work, that doesn't excuse the mass killing. The mass killing is inexcusable. And while we're on the subject of shelter animals, do you know that every day in the United States, thousands of homeless cats and dogs that are healthy, that they have no issues or anything. These are healthy, happy, lovable animals being executed by the thousands at animal shelters, even PETA-run shelters. This is how fucked up animals have it. This is why you need to go vegan and you need to be an animal defender, because animals have it so fucked up that even cats and dogs are being executed in animal shelters by the thousands every single day just because they're homeless. And these rich, greedy people are making things so much more difficult for these animals to get adopted out. You have these rich, greedy fucks that literally will not rent their rental units to people with pets. No pets allowed policy. That's a major thing. That's the reason why these animals are being executed by the thousands, because of these money-hungry, greedy people that own property and rent it out and have the no pets allowed policy. And also, these rich, greedy people who are just getting greedier and greedier, and they want to make more money and more money. So they screw their employees off. They screw their employees off, and they don't pay them a fair wage. If these people were being paid a fair wage, a lot of these people would be adopting these animals at these animal shelters and saving them from being executed. If they could literally, afford to buy pet food. It's pretty pathetic. My husband just talked to his cousin who's 79 years old, and got a divorce and is having financial difficulties right now. And he had to give up his cat because he couldn't afford to feed his cat. Well, a good thing he found the cat a good home. I just wish he would have told me about this ahead of time, because I would have given him the money to feed his cat. I just didn't know, because we had lost touch and, for a while, didn't know that was happening with him. He gave up his cat, but, luckily he, found a good home for her. But he literally had to give up his cat because he couldn't feed her. I mean, that's just fucking ridiculous that people don't make enough money to feed a cat. One cat. He just had one pet, a cat. Couldn't feed the cat anymore, because that's how much he's struggling financially. Can't even barely feed himself. And a lot of people are going through this because of the rich, greedy people in this world who just, they'll never, ever, ever make enough money. No amount of money will ever be enough for them. Because, the more money you have, the more power you have, the more control you have. And these people just love power. They love control. It's really disgusting. It's really disgusting what's happening. But again, something else I want to talk about when it comes to these shelter animals. Because people just all day long, every time I go live, they just want to accuse me of lying, accuse me of spreading misinformation. Well, this is coming from the National Animal Care and Control Association, okay? Regarding dead animals and guideline recommendations, okay? The National Animal Care and Control Association recommends that agencies provide dead animal disposal services of stray or unwanted animals in their municipality. And down here shows dead animal disposal can include cremation facilities, landfill burial, or rendering. Check out my last video if you want to see what I'm talking about. This is a rendering plant in California. I got the video from YouTube, from the Animal Rescue Channel. A gentleman goes to the Vernon rendering plant in California, and he walks right up to the back of the building, and there's this big pile of dead shelter dogs. And what are they going to be doing with those dogs? Well, I could pull up another document showing that, these animals are literally cooked. Their fat is cooked off their bodies, and that fat is used to make soap, tallow. You know what tallow is? Animal fat. Look at your soap. Look at the ingredients. If it's not vegan, the reason why your soap isn't vegan is because it contains animal fat, tallow, tallowate. That comes from animal fat. And at the rendering facilities where they cook the animal fat off the animal's body, some of these rendering plants do receive animal carcasses from animal shelters. So they're literally cooking the fat off of shelter cats and shelter dogs after they've been killed. And turning them into products like your soap, like your shampoo, like your makeup. That's why you need to make sure that your makeup is vegan, that your soap is vegan. that your shampoo is vegan, that your toothpaste is vegan. Because if it's not vegan, the reason why it's not vegan is because it contains animal byproducts. That's why it's not vegan, because it contains animal byproducts. And those animal byproducts are typically animal fat. You're literally like a bar of soap made with tallow. You're literally like cleaning your body with animal fat. It's really creepy. Putting lipstick that's not vegan on your lips. You're literally putting animal fat on your lips. And it could be fat from dogs and cats. Because again, like I said, this is from the National Animal Care and Control Association regarding dead animals. The National Animal Care and Control Association recommends that agencies provide dead animal disposal services of stray or unowned animals in their municipalities. And then down a little further, towards the end, dead animal disposal can include cremation facilities, landfill, burial, or rendering plants. What they do at those rendering plants, they literally cook the fat off the animals. And they were doing this. There's this true story in Peru, like 15 years ago. True story. About 60 people in Peru were murdered. Their heads cut off, their limbs cut off, their torsos hung by trees over a flame. And that flame cooked the fat off their bodies into a container, and then they would bottle that fat up and sell it to you and to cosmetic companies in Europe. True story, look into it. For thousands and thousands of dollars, using animal fat from women that were murdered for their fat to be turned into makeup, skin softener, wrinkle reducers. True story. But see, they're doing this with dog fat and cat fat and pig fat and cow fat. Cooking the fat off the animals' bodies and using that for, your makeup and your skincare products that aren't vegan, of course. That's why, I make sure all of my products are vegan and not tested on animals. I don't want any animals being abused in any way. And I certainly do not want to put the fat of a dog or the fat of a cat or the fat of a pig or the fat of a chicken on my face, on my lips. I don't want to cleanse my body with animal fat. I mean, that even if I didn't care about the animals, it's like I wouldn't want to cleanse my body with animal fat. That's what tallowate is. What is it? Sodium tallowate? Look at your soap that you're using. If it's not vegan, it's not vegan because it contains animal fat. If your lipstick is not vegan, yeah, it's not vegan because it contains animal fat. You're putting animal fat on your lips. And that animal fat can actually come from shelter dogs and shelter cats that were euthanized. And if you think I'm like making this shit up, just look at my last video. Watch my last video. Again, that's from the Vernon rendering plant in California. I got the video off of YouTube from the Animal Rescue Channel. The gentleman that made that video, you should watch the full video because my video is only 1 minute long, or maybe it's 2 minutes because I posted it a couple places. So a couple of the ones that I posted are just a minute and a couple of them are almost 2 minutes. But anyway, the full video is like 11 minutes. And my videos, I literally had to censor out the dead dogs. But watch the video on YouTube. If you go to, just Google or go on YouTube and search for Vernon rendering plant dead dogs. And it should come right up under the Animal Rescue Channel. And you can see the actual pile of dead dogs. Again, that's at a rendering plant. And what they do with those deceased animals is they literally cook the fat off their bodies and then use it to make soap and shampoo. And I'll pull this up. First of all, before I go to that, let me show you this again in case you just tuned in. This is from the National Animal Care and Control Association, telling what they do with dead animals, or how facilities should dispose of dead animals. The National Animal Care and Control Association recommends that agencies provide dead animal disposal services of away or of stray or unowned animals in their municipalities. Stray, like stray cats, stray dogs. Unowned animals, like stray or surrendered cats, surrendered dogs. And then down further, you see dead animal disposal can include cremation facilities, landfill, or rendering. Okay, so let me pull up from the barely see it. Okay. Yeah, well, I can see this. So this is from, I just pulled this up like a week ago from the Vernon Rendering Plants website. And look what it says. Rendering is a form of specialized recycling of animal byproducts that can't go into landfills. Rendering is, for the most part, a fully sustainable process of repurposing material that would otherwise be discarded. It is a process that converts animal byproducts, such as out-of-date supermarket meat stock and animal remains. Yes, animal remains. That includes the dead dogs and the dead cats from animal shelters, typically government-operated animal shelters. Okay, so continue on, which are generally not allowed in landfills, into repurposed materials such as grease, tallow, which they use in soap, and meat meal. Rendering facilities accept the materials, recycle them, and complete their processing to produce finished products such as biofuels, renewable diesel, plastics, fertilizers, paints, candles, animal feed, pet food, lubricants, soap, cosmetics. Yeah, see, I'm not lying. I'm not lying. I have no reason to lie. I have no reason to lie. And again, to further prove what I'm telling you, watch my last video. Watch my last video so you can see exactly what I am talking about. You need to go vegan, and you need to make not just make sure that the food you're consuming is vegan, but the makeup you're putting on your face, the soap you're cleaning yourself with, the shampoo you're cleaning your hair with, the toothpaste you're brushing your teeth with. You need to make sure all of that stuff is vegan. Yeah, because again, if your soap and shampoo and makeup isn't vegan, it could actually come from rendered shelter animals that go to these rendering plants that literally repurpose their dead bodies into soap and pet food and shampoo and animal feed. Yeah, so those animals, that pig that you ate this morning, that cow you ate for lunch, that chicken you ate for dinner, could have been fed dead cats and dead dogs that came from animal shelters. Yeah, well, denial is a defense mechanism that people use when they don't want to face reality. But then, yeah, there are just people out there who just don't give a shit. I understand that, I mean, yeah, I sign petitions all day long against people who abuse cats and dogs. I mean, just a few months ago, I signed a petition against a teenager here in Florida who took his family dog and hacked that dog to pieces with a sword and was bragging about it. And I signed a petition to make sure he gets prosecuted to the fullest extent of the law. Yeah, so there's literally people who get off abusing animals. So I understand, there are people here that, and they laugh about it. They see pictures of animals suffering and they joke about it. They have no heart. people are good people. Most people are good people. And most people are against animal cruelty. They just were not taught better. Just like me growing up, I wasn't vegan because I wasn't taught better. I wasn't given the choice to be vegan growing up. I didn't even know there was such a thing. I never even heard the word vegan until I was like in my 20s. It might have even been my early 30s when I first heard the word vegan. Even though the word vegan was coined back in the 1940s and the concept of veganism has been around for thousands of years. Like, yeah, if you're Christian, turn to the very first page of the Bible. It's right there on the very first page of the Bible, the concept of veganism. Genesis 1:29. And God said, behold, I have given you every herb-bearing seed which is upon the face of all the earth, and every tree in which is the fruit of a tree-yielding seed, to you it shall be for meat. Thou shalt not kill means be vegan. Live by the golden rule means be vegan. Isaiah 11:6-9, the wolf will lay with the lamb and there will be no more harm. Yeah, so the concept of veganism has been around for ages. I think most people are against animal abuse. Most people would not want to work in a factory farm. Most people definitely wouldn't want to work in a slaughterhouse. So you are vegan at heart. It's just a matter of getting away from this cult that literally convinced you that you have to eat animal carcasses to be healthy, that you have to eat liquid that comes out of a cow's infected udder to get your calcium. When, in case you don't know, dairy cows produce milk for one reason. What dairy cows do. Dairy cows produce milk. No, mothers produce milk. Mothers produce milk. Dairy cows have to be impregnated before they will start to lactate. So they are literally forcibly impregnated. In other words, they have semen forced into them without their consent. If you were to force semen into a woman without her consent, would you call that artificial insemination? I seriously doubt it. It's a crime. It's a crime. But, the dairy farmers and, everyone in the animal agriculture industry, because artificial insemination is standard practice throughout the animal agriculture industry. In fact, with turkeys grow so abnormally large in the animal agriculture industry that physically they can't have sex. So even for your turkey for tomorrow's dinner, yeah, they literally sexually stimulate the male turkey, like they sexually stimulate a bull, to get them to ejaculate so they can steal the semen so they can force it into that unconsenting female turkey to fertilize her eggs so those eggs hatch into the turkeys that are raised for your Thanksgiving feast. And in the case of dairy, they force that semen into the dairy cow to get her pregnant so that she will start lactating. Then once that dairy cow gives birth, her baby is stolen. On some dairy farms, they kill the male calves right away because they have absolutely no use for the male calves. But typically what happens is they're sold to the veal industry and killed at a few weeks of age. And even if they're sold to the beef industry, okay, beef cattle are slaughtered between 12 to 22 months of age. They can live over 20 years, but they're slaughtered very, very, very young. And even the dairy cows themselves are sent to slaughter when they can no longer produce enough milk to be profitable. That typically happens at about 5 years of age, when again, they can live over 20 years. So it's just really, really disgusting. And you need to just stop trying to justify such cruelty. It's insanity what we're doing to these animals and just making ourselves sick in the process. In case you don't know, dairy is carcinogenic. Consuming dairy products increases your risk of breast cancer. Even my own supervisor was instructed by her doctor to not consume dairy because she has a family history of breast cancer, and consuming dairy products increases the risk of breast cancer. Now, Linda McCartney, Paul McCartney's wife, yeah, she was a vegetarian. And she died of breast cancer. Yeah, she was a vegetarian who ate cheese regularly. And also, multiple sclerosis is linked to dairy consumption. Who is another vegetarian who eats cheese? Christina Applegate. Yeah, look this up, people. Like I said, I don't want you to take my word for it. Look it up yourself. Look up the studies. Watch What the Health. Watch Eating You Alive. Watch The Last Heart Attack with Dr. Sanjay Gupta. Watch The Game Changers. Look at the studies. Go pay a visit to your local hospital. See who's filling up those hospital beds. It's not vegans. It's not vegans dropping dead by the thousands from heart attacks and strokes and cancer every day. Even from the American Institute for Cancer Research, the National Kidney Foundation, the American Heart Association, a plant-based diet literally helps reduce the risk of all of those very common and very deadly diseases and can even help treat them. Thoughts on hunting? Yeah, would you go out in the woods and put a bullet through a human? Would you do that? Yeah, it's weird because, the other day, a child, an 11-year-old child, accidentally got killed during a hunting trip. And, it's like tragic. 11-year-old killed in a hunting accident. Like, okay, it's great that you understand that's tragic. It's great that you understand that that is tragic, that an 11-year-old got a fucking bullet in his chest, okay? I'm glad you understand that's tragic. But why the fuck isn't it tragic when you fucking put a bullet through a deer's chest? Why is that like, oh, that's some fun there. Let's do some more of that. Yeah. Yeah, you're a speciesist, okay? You're a human supremacist. Just like it's not okay to put a bullet through a human, it's not okay to put a bullet through an animal who's literally just minding their own business, trying to survive. Literally just out there in the woods trying to survive. Humans are the only species literally destroying the planet. Literally destroying the planet. And it's mainly due to animal agriculture, and a close second to that is hunting and fishing. So, yeah, my thoughts on hunting, it should be illegal. Just like murder is illegal, hunting should be illegal. Fishing should be illegal. Animal agriculture should be illegal. All you have to do to determine if something is right or wrong is determine if you want that same thing done to you. And again, humans are the ones destroying the planet, not the animals. And here in the United States, there are 10 humans for every single deer, not 10 deer for every human. So if you want to say, use this ridiculous excuse, but we got to keep their population in check. Oh, I'm sure you're pro-life and against abortion. For like the most destructive species that ever existed. Yeah, so you don't make any sense. You're a hypocrite. And yes, hunting, what I think about that, I think it's evil and I think it needs to be banned. And, I'm sure the parents of that child that was just killed the other day in that hunting accident, I'm sure that those parents of that kid now wish that the world was vegan. That the world followed God's dietary plan in Genesis 1:29. And it's weird because, I did a search because I wanted to get a little bit more information on that 11-year-old that got killed in that hunting accident the other day. So I simply typed in 11-year-old killed in hunting accident. And all of these stories came up about different 11-year-olds. It wasn't just this one 11-year-old that got killed in a hunting accident. There were several 11-year-olds killed in hunting accidents. And I'm sure if I put 12-year-olds killed in hunting accident, 13-year-olds killed in hunting accidents, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 20, I would have like literally hundreds and hundreds, if not thousands of incidences where people got killed in hunting accidents. Yeah, this is a violent activity. And you could very easily die. And it's certainly not a good thing to get your child involved in it. I mean, that should be on the parent. That should be considered child abuse. Getting your child involved in such a brutal, violent activity where like bullets are literally flying all over the fucking place. And yeah, you can't go out in the woods hunting and think that that's a safe thing to do. Send your 11-year-old child out into the fucking woods with a bunch of people with fucking guns shooting bullets all over the place, thinking that this could never happen. When if you do a Google search, you will see this happens all the time. My house is made of concrete block. Aw, poor baby. Cry about it. Cry. I'm going to block this person because I'm sure this person's falsely reporting my content. I'm just stating facts. Like, if you can't handle the facts, that's your problem, not mine. Yeah, if you think it's okay to slaughter animals, why don't you go work in a slaughterhouse? Do you think Jesus would have worked in a slaughterhouse? Do you think Jesus would work in a slaughterhouse? Really? You think there's slaughterhouses in heaven? And again, the first step in producing animal products is they literally masturbate the male animal, force that animal to ejaculate. That's bestiality. Look at what your Bible says about bestiality and what the punishment should be for bestiality. Yes, sexual relations between a human and an animal is absolutely bestiality. It doesn't matter whether the farmer is getting sexual gratification or not. The fact that that farmer is sexually stimulating a male animal into having an orgasm, especially, makes it bestiality. It is absolutely sexual relations. The farmer's sexually stimulating the animal. That is sexual relations. And it's a human doing it to an animal. Sexual relations between a human and an animal is bestiality. And it's the first step in producing animal products. And even for your holiday turkey, look up Mike Rowe, the episode of Dirty Jobs, where Mike Rowe goes to a turkey farm and the turkey farmer literally demonstrates how he collects semen from that male turkey. He restrains that turkey and then starts fondling him until he ejaculates and takes the semen, and that semen gets shoved into the unconsenting female turkey. Now, if you were to shove semen into an unconsenting woman, I doubt you would call that artificial insemination. That would be rape. That's a crime. But that's what they do to make the baby animals that you eat and to, get the dairy cows pregnant so they can start to lactate, and then they steal their baby and kill that baby if that baby's a boy so you can consume that little baby's food. Yeah, so the image behind me is a screenshot of an undercover investigation at a slaughterhouse where they are slaughtering the male calves taken off the dairy cows. You should check this video out. It's only 2 minutes long. If you Google Kinder World Calf Slaughter, you will pull this video up. I dare you to watch it. I dare you to watch it. And tell me what you think. Tell me what you think. These workers are literally whipping these little babies around as they try to escape. They literally try to escape. They're being forced forward to the monster that's slicing their throats. And they're turning around because they sense something horrible ahead is happening. So these little baby animals are literally turning around and trying to escape this slaughterhouse. And the workers are literally picking these little babies up and whipping them back into place to go forward to their deaths. so that you can consume cheese, so you can consume dairy products, so you can put cream in your coffee and milk in your cereal. Well, guess what? You can still eat ice cream. You can still put cream in your coffee. You can still put milk in your cereal. You can still eat cheese pizza. Just choose the plant-based cheese, the plant-based ice cream, the plant-based cream, the plant-based milk. Going vegan is as easy as, when you go to the grocery store, instead of reaching for the cow's milk, move your hand just a few inches the other way and pick up the soy milk. Pick up the rice milk or the oat milk or the flax milk or the soy milk or the coconut milk. Leave the cow's milk on the shelf because it involves extreme animal cruelty. Leave the beef on the store shelf. That involves extreme animal cruelty. Go down the aisle where they have all the plant-based burgers. Much healthier, much more environmentally sustainable. Go pick yourself up a holiday roast, a vegan holiday roast, either Gardein or 365. 365 is Whole Foods brand. Also Trader Joe's has a vegan holiday roast. Pick those up for your Thanksgiving dinner, for your Christmas dinner, and stop paying people to hurt animals. Thou shalt not kill means vegan. There will never be peace on earth as long as slaughterhouses exist. There will never be peace on earth as long as people are being so cruel and brutal and violent towards these innocent, defenseless creatures. You reap what you sow. I mean, when all you do is consume violence and injustice, look what happens in society. It's all you see in society. Violence and injustice. Peace starts on your plate. And in case you don't know, Albert Einstein, Nikola Tesla, Sir Isaac Newton, Leonardo da Vinci, Benjamin Franklin, Vincent van Gogh, Pythagoras, Plato, Plutarch, Socrates, all abstained from eating animals because they knew it was immoral and unhealthy. And again, it's not just the cows and the pigs and the chickens that are slaughtered for your food preferences. It's also the wild American horses. Yeah, because they compete with livestock for grazing land. So they're being massacred. They're being annihilated. Wolves, cougars, bears, bobcats, foxes, coyotes are being annihilated because they are a threat to livestock. Even sea lions are being slaughtered. Sea lions have to eat salmon to survive, but because fishermen want that salmon for themselves so they can sell it to you, they're having the sea lions massacred. So yeah, if you claim to be an animal lover, you need to be vegan. And it's so easy to be vegan. Right here in the search box, just put vegan recipes. You'll come across endless vegan recipes and hundreds of TikTokers who post vegan recipes. Give some of those people a follow. You will see how very easy it is to be vegan, how vegan food is very, very delicious and it's healthy. Watch What the Health. Watch Eating You Alive. Watch The Game Changers. And also check out Dominion. You can see it for free at dominionmovement.com. It's narrated by Joaquin Phoenix, you know, that guy that won the Oscar for his role as the Joker. Yeah, he's been vegan since he was 3 years old, and he narrates Dominion. It's a film that shows you why you need to be vegan. And again, you can see it free at dominionmovement.com. Just click on it. You'll go right in. You don't have to sign in or anything. Just click on it and it comes right up. And if you don't want to watch the whole entire film, just click through different sections of it. Or watch the trailer. Very, very beautiful song. You should listen to that song. It's really, really beautiful. So I guess I'm going to sign off for now, but I'll be back tomorrow. So I'm off for the next 4 days. So yeah, maybe I'll spend a little bit more time going live. Don't force people to what you want. I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. If you feel like I'm forcing you to go vegan, it's because you feel or you know that I'm right and what you're doing to animals is wrong. That's why you feel like I'm forcing you to go vegan, because you could very easily ignore me. Like you ignore the fact that you have baby animals killed for your food preferences. But yeah, there's a reason why so many people are having an issue, with me, that they're like, literally just, leaving comments just with meat emojis. Yeah, you're angry. You're angry. Because I'm right and you're wrong for what you're doing to these animals. Stop fighting against veganism and do the right thing and stand up for these victims. Stop standing up for the victimizers. Stand up for the animals. Stop standing up for the animal abusers. That is what you're doing with all your anti-vegan comments. You're literally defending the animal abusers. You're literally being an advocate for the animal abusers. This multi-billion-dollar industry that's literally destroying the planet. Torturing and massacring ceaseless billions of animals just to sell you products that literally increase your risk of heart disease, cancer, diabetes, kidney disease, and causing another pandemic like bird flu, swine flu. Madness, madness. Just please go vegan. Stop making excuses. Give me a follow. Because I'll be going live again probably tomorrow. Well, I definitely will be going live, maybe unless I, get murdered tonight, because somebody, during one of my last lives had literally somebody call me up and say they were on their way to my house because they're so fucking mad that they can't get me. They want to get me blocked, but they haven't been able to do it yet because I'm not doing anything wrong. I'm literally just stating facts. And again, don't take my word. I don't want you to take my word for anything I've said tonight. Just look into it. Look into it and you will see I'm not lying about anything. I'm not even exaggerating. And it's a lot worse than what I'm describing. It's a lot worse than what I'm describing. Your mind will be blown. If you start looking at these undercover investigations of these places where your food comes from, you will be in shock of how these animals are abused and treated. You will be shocked and appalled. Plants feel pain. That's an argument for veganism. More plants have to be killed to feed the animals that you eat, and animal agriculture is the leading cause of deforestation. So if you truly care about plants, you need to go vegan. And not only should you go vegan, you should become a fruitarian because no plants are harmed for fruits, nuts, or seeds. So give me a follow. Check out my last video, please. See why you absolutely need to go vegan, and you need to make sure your soap, your shampoo, your makeup is vegan. Give that because you're literally, with soap that's not vegan, you are literally bathing yourself in animal fat. That is what tallow is, sodium tallowate. That is what tallow is, animal fat. And that fat can actually come from shelter cats and dogs that were euthanized and sent to rendering plants. Check out my last video if you think I'm lying.